Hey everyone, Patrick here. Just wanted to make a video tonight, continuing with basically the theme of like death and aging and cell mutation and whatnot. Today was a pretty busy day at work, but I got everything done. What else? I made a pizza from scratch just now, provolone and spinach, so that's going to be good. And I'm continuing with legs every day, so I did legs along with my chest workout since it's Monday. But today I want to talk about evolution and survival of the fittest. So basically, survival of the fittest is where species compete against each other for resources and longevity. And you can also have survival of the fittest within a species, where people, people is one example, where different life forms are competing against each other for the resources. This has basically come to a halt with all of the technology and advancements that we've had, at least for humans. I know out in the wild there is survival of the fittest, and other species are continuing to change and evolve as we speak. But for humans, we're not really eliminating any of the gene pool. We're keeping everybody. And what I mean by that is that the reasons that we used to be at a major disadvantage for and die for are no longer an issue. Say example, peanut allergies. We know people can be allergic to peanuts and all other kinds of things like shellfish and whatnot, but we know these things, and we have made EpiPens that have adrenaline that will stop the allergic reaction when they come in contact with their allergen. So those people can go on and have children and stuff, and they won't die because we know what's going on and we know that we can prevent that. Also in the past, they used to say you had someone that was disabled as a child. They would just get rid of the child. They would just throw it away. But now we show empathy. So we keep these disabled people and we take care of them because we appreciate life as a society. That might not be everyone's views, but as a whole, as a general idea of what's right, humanity at this point sees that we should take care of those that are less fortunate than us, basically across the board. Basically, what this does now is it creates a place where anyone with any type of problem, like say you're really like blind as a bat, but not completely blind, you can, well actually that phrase is completely wrong because bats are not blind. Sorry about that. Say you have really bad eyesight. That would be a major disadvantage thousands of years ago, before corrective lenses were created, or LASIK eye surgery. So you just end up not being able to see very well, and it would probably just get worse and worse until an animal came up and made you its lunch. So we've gone a long way by creating glasses and being able to heal major injuries. Back then, a long time ago, like you could break a leg and it would just never heal right, or I mean, you could get an infection and just die of a simple thing that we can take care of now instantaneously, almost. So that's survival of the fittest. And why that's important is everything and everyone is different. There's just so many possibilities for different combinations of genes and different characteristics that we can portray that no two people will be alike. Even twins that have the same exact DNA. I forgot if it's paternal or fraternal. I can't remember. But there's two different types of twins. One where, well, there's probably more, but the ones that I know are when two sperm reach the egg at the same time, and they begin their own cell division, and they've got the same egg, but they end up being two genetically different people because it's two different sperm cells. And there's one instance of twins where the the sperm reaches the egg and it splits incorrectly. It makes two identical identical twins. It makes two identical lump of cells that continue to divide and form two babies. But basically, these differences come from mutations in our genes. Whenever whenever our cells are dividing, they're copying themselves in the nucleus of the cell first. So they basically copy all their genetic information as they start to split up, all the mitochondria and all the other parts of the cell. And there are errors, but there's correctors in place that can correct some of the errors, and usually slight mutations are caught, but there's always going to be a little bit of change. You're not the same person that you were when you were born. You probably have completely, if you're watching this video, you probably have completely different atoms making you up, because I think I heard a statistic where it's like about every 5 years, all the atoms and molecules that make up your body are now completely different than they were before, because of the way that our cells divide and how we bring in new material, get rid of the old, bring in the new, create new cells. These mutations that happen cause changes. That's basically how evolution works. One day, say an animal like a little rat or something, this is only an example, I don't know if this is actually how it happened, but I'm going to basically try and change a giant rat thing into a rhinoceros. Say, and this has to do with survival of the fittest. That's why this is how evolution basically got to where it is right now. Say this rat starts to get a bump on its head, like a protrusion, like a little horn's forming, and it's able to basically fend off foes and be the alpha male and get a mate that way, because it just hits all the other rats with its like horn that's coming out of its head. So obviously this is an exaggerated example, but that rat would go on to have more babies, increasing its population that has that genetic mutation. And the result would be less giant rats have opportunities to mate and create their children, which would not show horns. And eventually, over the generations, this takes thousands and thousands of years, maybe even tens of thousands. But eventually, the horn would get larger, and you end up with a rhinoceros. Now, I know that kind of sounds really dumb, but that's the basics of it. There's tons of other information that you can go and research. I just wanted to get you interested, or if you don't know anything about this at all, just inform you the basics. But that's basically how evolution works in the wild, and how it's worked up till now, until we've gotten rid of survival of the fittest by having the capability to make anything, or any human, or even animals. If they're injured, we have veterinarians that can help them if they have infections or funguses, or if they're injured or abused or put in dog fights or something. We have the ability to get rid of